What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the Toyworld TW-H01 Hardbone. And I assume by H01 they're going to be putting out more Headmasters, but who knows? Quick look at the box here, kind of peculiar. If you're 15 years, you're too young to play with this. I don't think so, but hey, whatever. Anyway, get a look at the product. Very basic box, actually. Rather large. He is packed in his vehicle mode, and his gun is pretty big, but they probably could have made it smaller. So let's actually look at the toy. This is the toy, and this really is a third-party hardhead for if you are a big fan of the H-Tank mode. Honestly, right off the bat, I'm going to say I really like this toy. It's very cool. But if you have the, thanks Onslaught, if you have the hardhead version of this mold and you have the Head Robots kit, unless the G1 aesthetic really does it for you, I don't know if I can recommend this guy just for the price. I ended up selling my hardhead mold for this guy, and I don't really regret it. I just don't think that he's necessarily a go out and pick up. But let's actually take a look at this toy. Maybe your mind will be different. Mine has started kind of swaying a little as I've seen some more of the playability of this toy. But yeah, you got the H-Tank mode. This gun is removable somehow. There you go, and you can kind of mount it on whichever side. The original hardhead was on this side, so that's the only reason I put it there. You can take these guns off, but they don't really fit well on here, so these two holes, it's not like you can put them on there or anything. But we'll just put that back, and we'll put this one back on. I found getting this gun in actually was a little bit difficult at first here, but after I've done it, this is about the third or fourth time I've taken it off, it's a lot easier to get it in. First time was just really tough. Feel like there's a joke to be made there, but I won't do it for the sake of the viewers of my audience. You also get the little, I believe his name was Duros, was the hardhead headmaster, I think. I can't really remember him. He is probably one of the more articulated little headmaster toys. Again, nothing's hiding the face on the back, but you do have a good ball jointed arm here, so you get a nice full range of movement there. Ball jointed hip, ball jointed knee. You can just get all kinds of crazy poses. And just for comparison here is the actual G1 Headmaster, just so you can kind of see the difference. Really nice paintwork and detailing on this guy. But I still think that this is the best one, even though he doesn't have the same articulation. Just the whole hiding the head thing is such a big deal that this one does. You can look past the little articulation limitations. And finally, if you have the Head Robots kit, there's your Headmaster. I have a picture at the end. Unfortunately, because of the slight back lean on my table here, I can't really get them to stand, so I do have a picture of them standing against the hardhead actual tank for size comparison. So this will do for now, and you'll see it in the pictures at the end. Whoops. So, like you expect, he will fit inside his cockpit here. Now, I've seen a couple pictures online where people just kind of fold him up like he's going to be in his Headmaster mode and just kind of drop him in, because he doesn't fit terribly well. So he ends up looking like this in the cockpit. And if you try to just kind of plop him in there, he doesn't really fit. And I've seen actually quite a few pictures of people doing this, but he actually can sit down. It's just a matter of you kind of have to bring his knees out like this, just like someone sitting in a chair. I personally like the arms up because I like it to look like he's piloting something. And then there's a little recess in the bottom there, and what you have to do is kind of get, it's fiddly because of his ball joints here, but you get him in there and kind of angle him back, and you should be able to press his feet on into the hole down there, and then that should give him just enough of a back lean here that this is going to close up just fine without him looking all squished and cramped in there. So it's doable without the feet going up, but I tend to see people with their feet up like the Headmaster mode. But once he's inside, he looks pretty darn good piloting this thing. Just the way it's visual through the cockpit there. I really like that. And just for a couple comparisons here is our original G1 H-Tank mode. You can just see how really a nice update to this you've got. Really looks nice. I like it. But the whole reason I bought this guy was because I had the Canadian TFCon Fortress, and I kind of want this guy to be my Fortress, you know, at least not in city mode on my shelf. So I didn't like him and Hardhead being the exact same thing and the exact same height, and I was really hoping this guy would be bigger. Is he? I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I really like how that looks, just so I can have a unique Fortress, a unique Hardhead, and then, of course, Chrome Dome. So I think they just look good. That size contrast between the three of them just really looks good in my opinion. So I believe that's all there is to say about the actual vehicle mode here. So let's actually go on to the robot mode, and we'll start with the Headmaster here. You're just going to take his knees, flip him, and then rotate him up, and he's in Headmaster mode. Now you will notice that it is somewhat similar to the G1 Headmasters in terms of that plate. This guy will not work with your Chrome Dome, or your Hardhead here, but you actually can put the new one onto the old body. It's not a terribly secure connection, but it does trigger the stat readouts, and look at that, they can vary. So yeah, you could use this if you had no head for your original, but it's kind of an expensive toy to be using as a replacement head. So anyway, let's put this head aside for now, and let's get started with the transformation here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is flip up these little panels here, like so. And that's going to let you kind of pull this up just a little bit so you can free his legs here. Now what we're going to do is come around to the back here and flip this open like that. And that's going to allow you to rotate the leg, maybe. It is difficult to get this out, I gotta say. There we go. Out of the cavity here like this, and then what you want to do is have like this curve to it as you put it back in, because it's going to go past this little clip hole and on in, and then you can actually just clip it together like that. And we'll do the same thing for this other side. Open this, open, come on, there we go. And then rotate the leg out of the cavity. Rotate it back on in and clip it closed. Take this little crotch piece and get this out of the way, because we're going to need to move the legs on in a second. In fact, we'll do that now. You'll take this and you just kind of rotate these pieces on in. You can see they kind of come together up here and they'll clip together, and then this crotch piece will actually work to secure it. It kind of swings upwards to come flush with these vents, and then on the bottom you'll see that slot there. And then that will basically, if you don't do that, you get this kind of motion on his body. So by doing this, it actually secures it in place so it can't really move like that. So now I'll come back down the feet, just kind of pull the little toes out and flip them up and flip them up. I'm not a huge fan of the clear plastic that Toyworld seems to like to use. They did it on Hegemon and they've done it here again. I don't see it actually being that harmful, but again, it is clear plastic and it's very fragile, so keep that in mind. Now we got this. What you're going to do is actually, when it's in H-Tank mode, it should be back like this. You'll slide it on forward. A lot of times you'll just kind of slide it on forward by picking it up accidentally. Get these pieces out of the way again if you manage to close them, and then they just kind of, you lift this up and close it. They tab onto this little piece to keep it from swinging up, and you just kind of sit that like that. Got some junk in his trunk there. Now we'll untab his arms here like so. And you can see there's these clear tabs here. You can actually take them and fold them down and out of the way to give him a better range of motion out of his arms. So just kind of do that for now. Then we'll come back to this piece, and you want to rotate it out and back, then just kind of rotate it around. It's on like a ball joint or something. So it sits like that, and your gun will switch to the other side now. So you're pretty much very close to being done. And the last thing you're going to do here is disconnect the bottom of the tread here. Now instructions just say to flip them around like that. And then you'll extend out the arm. Now this is a complaint because there is nothing that clips here. I would have really liked to seen like you pull and it goes click and kind of holds in, but it doesn't. So it's constantly going to be moving on you, but it's not too bad. Open up this and pop out his hand here, which I always have trouble doing this. So fortunately his guns are right here, and I just kind of peg it in and pull it out that way. And also throw the gun onto the ground. There we go. So we'll fix his arm here, like so. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. Again, drop this down, extend this out, flip the tread, open this little panel, bar the gun, flip out his fist, and there you go. We have him in his robot mode, ready to receive his head. I'll just put his gun back on and take his head, and it just plugs right into the top. And now I've tried, like I said, I tried to put the G1 head in, and it just wasn't gonna happen. So don't force that. But there you go. Now you got a really cool looking Hardhead in his robot mode here. And this guy has a ton of play options. Now, these do have that like very, I don't know if you'll see it very well, but it has that like Macross / Gundam missile spam type thing. But there's really no way to get them over his shoulders without making it look weird. So that's probably one of the reasons that nobody really mentions that feature very much. In terms of his actual cannons here, so you got some interesting things going on here too. First off, just about every extra piece is removable. If you don't like this yellow piece, you can take it off. It's much more G1 looking that way. You can then also take that yellow piece and you can put it on any of these guns if you want to make them look different, which is pretty cool. The other thing is here, let's put this back. I personally just like to leave this on the top here. You've also got this piece here, which kind of swivels up and stuff, so you can kind of pull it up. And I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of swiveling that up is, but I do know that you can actually attach all the guns onto his shoulder piece, like so, if you really wanted him to have some kind of massive cannons. Now, he's also got, well, let's actually take these guns here, and we'll put it in his hands, because he certainly does look pretty good dual wielding his weapons here. There we go. And in his legs here, you might have noticed him when it was in transformation, he's actually got these little things you can actually open up, and there's two extra pieces. You've got like a combat knife, and of course he can hold all this stuff too. You got a combat knife, and you've got kind of like one of those old style grenades, but this grenade does more than just that. Again, you can hold it if you want him to be chucking a grenade. This one's a lot tighter to get in. I've managed to get it in, there we go. But it is tough, it doesn't, I don't know if it's 100% supposed to be held like that. But you can actually take this and you can put it on here, so it could kind of be like a scoped sight almost. The other thing you can do with this is you can take one of these guns and you can actually jam it into the barrel to make kind of like a sniper rifle looking thing. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then of course you got his knife, and he can hold his knife, and of course make sure he's holding it the right way, because nobody who knows how to use a knife holds it from the top. You can take this knife, it can also clip in underneath the barrel of one of your guns to give a bayonet. And then you can make it ridiculous by putting the silencer or extended barrel on there and make the knife completely useless. So yeah, you do really have a ton of options for playability on this guy, and I do very much appreciate that. And that's actually taken my level of enjoyment of this guy from pretty good to really good, and I am glad I sold my Hardhead for him, but I think it's up to you if you really think you need him or not. I'm a little crazy with third-party toys, so you know, it's easy for me to make justifications in my own head as to why I need them. I just really like how these extra weapons store too. It's just nice to have them there, and then you can just kind of tuck them away. So let's actually sit him down here. Let's look at his articulation. He does have a shoulder joint that is really tight ratchet there. You can hear just how heavy duty that is. I don't really make use of that joint very much. You got a nice rotation there, a good enough rotation on his arm. Anything else can kind of be offset with that tight ratchet. You do have the upper arm swivel. Again, it goes in and out. Pretty decent elbow, just one nice rotation on the wrist. You do have full waist articulation on a ratchet. Down on his legs, it is your swivel and in and out, so kind of a little more Energon style articulation on the legs, but nothing wrong with that. A nice knee swivel, a knee joint, and then as advertised, oh my goodness, he's got a ankle tilt. So yeah, he's a very good, very posable toy. A good shelf presence there. Let's actually compare him to his G1 self, just for comparison. Again, pretty good. Some liberties taken with how he looks, but this is a pretty outdated looking toy comparatively. This is much more, you know, cybernetic robot. Is that the same thing? I don't know what I was trying to say. A sentient robot, that's what I was thinking. And there we go with Fortress, and you can see that they're close to the same size. I did kind of want Fortress to be a little bit bigger, but the fact that they're two different alt modes, are two different bots and two different alt modes, I can live with it. I think they look great on the shelf together. And then we can bring in our Chrome Dome here, who I feel should be smaller. And I just really like how that trio looks together. So I'm really looking forward to see what other Headmasters we get. I'd love to get the other two on the team. I know Fans Project are doing them. I guess they'll probably be about this size. I'll probably still be happy with it, but I would like them to be somewhere in between the two, personally. But yeah, so this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know what you guys think of Hardbone here, if you think that he's something that's worth picking up, if he is a large improvement over getting the Head Robots kit for your Universe Hardhead or what. So I will see you guys next week. Before I go, I realized I forgot one thing. Head articulation. You got a ratcheted joint on the head there. And the only other thing I noticed is I have two reversed legs. I'm not sure if I can fix that or not. I think I can. It looks like it's fixable. But yeah, this one is definitely backwards comparatively. I thought it looked funny from the front when I was putting them in a couple different poses there. So yeah, I think I can get, yeah, actually you can see one of them gets better leg articulation than the other in terms of how far they can bend. So obviously we're going to take the one that bends further and put that on, reverse it. So I gotta fix this leg, I think. So anyway, I'll see you guys next week.